Some mornings I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. And then I remember, like, wait, I'm going to school, and I get excited.
When you walk into SAR, like, you just feel the kindness.
There's so much care for everyone in SAR. It's not like just a school for learning. It's a place to feel comfortable.
There's nothing like SAR Ruach. It's that happiness you get when you're sitting with your friends singing.
They've instilled a value in us of loving Israel, not just learning Torah, but loving the land itself. Am Yisrael, Medina Yisrael, and Eretz Yisrael. On Rosh Chodesh, we used to dress up, and everyone would gather on the stairs together and sing together.
The Yom HaAtzmaut and Yom Yerushalayim celebration really contributed to that, and that's continued.
I'm extremely proud of SAR's close relationship with all things Israel, and the fact that Hebrew is such an important educational concept in the school.
The whole idea of the school is that they want to shape you into good Jewish people, not just learning things in school, but going outside of school and doing things to help other people.
Just like we have no walls here in our school, there is no limit to how people want to help in our community.
SAR really emphasizes the individual and the idea that you matter.
It's true, they do matter. Every kid matters, and every kid is going to grow up to be an adult someday. That's what we're trying to train these kids to think about and to be like.
SAR fosters their connections with each other and people around the world and Jews around the world, and shows them that you can make a meaningful difference.
50 years from the most traumatic event in the history of the State of Israel were marked on Friday.
We all had very heavy hearts, didn't know what the future would hold, but knowing SAR, it couldn't be a better place to send the kids back to.
At the same time that we were individually processing, we had to talk about what does this mean for our school community.
We called a Zoom meeting with the transition team, and we were crying together. I said, listen, I don't have much of a plan, but we got to do something. That's our job. So we're going to gather on the steps tomorrow because we need that.
You know who's most capable of bringing light to the world? Children.
We started thinking about how we were going to work with our students, take care of them, guide them.
Whenever there's tragedy, how do you teach it in a way that gives children agency?
The first thing that we thought we needed to do was to increase our students' knowledge and understanding of the events that were going on.
In the ELC, teachers managed it based on what students knew and what they needed to talk about.
Having them write letters to Chayalim and pack supplies and teaching them songs and singing on the steps every morning, that is what grounded them and what grounded me.
We have to be carrying this weight of like, there's something going on right now that we need to keep in our minds. And we can't throw down that weight and just let it go. And we also, at the same time, we have to be carrying it. Can't let it hold us down.
We have to hold on to that, but we have to pick ourselves up and do something now.
Here, write a letter to the president really fast.
Rabbi Sachs speaks a lot about Judaism empowers us to do. I think a lot of people felt that charge.
20 minutes after the Chag ended, there was already like a text in the grade group chat about joining a Tehillim chat.
We were still processing what it felt like to be there on October 7th. And then we got here on October 9th, and my daughters were already involved in doing something.
We've been gathering on the steps, there was the collection drive. All people who love Israel want to help. In SAR, they can do it.
Not just what's critical and it's important and writing a check, but also just doing something.
We always used to have Avram's tent, and we did different chesed within the tent. So throughout SAR, we're like, we want to try and be Avram. We want to do achnas aruchim. We want to do different cheseds and help others.
Rabbi Kroll and I went to Israel for 2 days on, I think, October 23rd. And the primary goal was to visit as many of our chayalim as possible.
Thank you so much.
We had students tying tzitzit, writing letters to soldiers and to families of hostages.
I've had students saying, what can we do to help the Hebrew teachers?
וזה היה מדהים. כמה שחיבקו אותי ועטפו אותי ובדקו מה שלומי ודאגו למה שאני צריכה ואיך אפשר לעזור כל הזמן.
teachers came together and created a website that we sent to Israel with videos for students to be watching. Hebrew read-alouds, English read-alouds.
We put out a very simple request for supplies for our soldiers, supplies for displaced families.
Undershirts, batteries, watches. We came to SAR that night to deliver it, and every bag was full. We needed more duffel bags.
And every middle schooler was coming, how can we help? And putting letters in from the kids. It was felt like a form of davening to me.
An opportunity popped up to fly with a family to Fargo, North Dakota. We didn't just stop at saying, well, they need help going from point A to point B. Somebody said to themselves, you know, point B is like really cold. And how can I make them feel more comfortable? And Jessica dropped off 2 duffels that were probably 60 pounds worth of gear that I happily took with me to the airport. And one of them said, well, why did you do this? So I said, Lama lo. Like, why wouldn't I do this?
There was a man, Maurice, who lived in upstate New York, who lost his sister and brother-in-law on the October 7th attack. And word got out that there was a shiva. 25 students went 4 hours for like a 20-minute shiva visit. And I told them, even if you can provide a moment of relief to the person who's sitting shiva, that is already considered a big mitzvah. And he brought out his old photo book from when he was a chayal. He showed us pictures. The kids, you know, they felt it. They really felt that connection. We totally provided one moment of relief to this man who knows a lot of pain.
My husband's sister is a social worker at the hotels in Yam HaMelech, working to stop PTSD from forming. The results are absolutely incredible, and they're trying to scale it up. Through partnering with SAR, they really were able to fly. I think they went from 10 therapists to 100 almost overnight, and now they're starting a 2.0 project, and it's largely thanks to SAR and the connections that have fostered.
We have a cousin who runs this coffee shop. He's like, I sell these Turkish coffee packets. Let me just make them. Any soldier that came to his office, here's a gift and take 30 back. And that's when I thought there was an opportunity for SAR to get involved. Now, all these packets with the SAR logo and some connection to the students is getting printed and distributed.
My teacher got a hold of some pictures from the base that the 5th grade letters had been sent to. And we got a picture where the soldier is putting it into a pocket right here, and it was like right next to his heart. It's showing that we're with him and he's with us.
I'm taking that with me. Thank you.
עוד לא יכולתי לעדכן, אבל זה היה לי ברור. שלחתי מייל לאלנה והמנהלת אצלנו ב-ELC ולרב ביני. מיד בצאת קיבלתי הודעה פשוטה ולקונית, בהצלחה, אנחנו איתך, מה שאתה צריך. זה היה ברור להם, כמובן זה מאוד חיזק, זה מדהים.
When we heard that Morasov was going back to Israel, we were all very, very sad that he was leaving. But after a bit of time, whenever we were sad that we missed him, we were like, but he's in Israel, help him.
מאוד מרשימה, בית ספר בהקשר הזה היה מדהים. התרגשו מהחזרה שלי, ממש אנשים היו עם דמעות ורק רצו לבוא להגיד שלום ותודה, ואני הייתי פשוט בהלם והתרגשתי גם ושמחתי איך שכולם הרגישו מחוברים. הרגשתי שאני, זה שחזרתי לארץ, קצת הרגשתי שבית ספר שולח אותי.
We started training our students in advocacy, teaching them how to write emails or letters to their elected officials, taking them, of course, to protests, to use their voice as voters or future voters.
We continue to stand together in unity, in solidarity with our brothers and sisters.
When something is happening to the Jewish community and we appreciate everything that America is doing, we have to show up and say thank you.
When we teach our kids to advocate at such a young age, the kids are learning that they have to take an active voice and that as they grow, there's more they can do.
The number of alumni who've taken on leadership roles on campus, who have appeared in Congress, on television, who've been interviewed, who've gone to rallies and spoken up, it's a tremendous source of pride. It exhibits a love for the Jewish people and a feeling that you can make a difference.
When you use your voice, people will follow. I mean, even before any of the conflict with Israel and the rise in anti-Semitism, I felt so ready and equipped to be in a college space, and I have SAR to thank for that.
It's one thing when you learn how to push beyond your comfortable limits and engage in the grand conversation in an academic setting in high school and even in a university. It's really another thing when you have to learn how to use it out here, really in real life. And I want to thank SAR for preparing me well and making me adept for this challenge. And keep on doing your thing, SAR.
3 weeks before Thanksgiving, Rabbi Krauss mentioned the idea of a group of people going to Israel on a mission to help, to bring chizuk. And we connected with the Naors, the Damris, Hadass Hershkowitz, and we kind of said, we want to come, how can we help? That was how the itinerary was built. It was all done through some sort of connection with SAR at its center.
SAR loves United Hatzalah.
I was really struck by how meaningful it was that there were buses full of people just here to support them, just here to see what was going on, bear witness to all the atrocities and how their everyday life has been disrupted. For me, it was about being there for the everyday things.
So when we got to the Dead Sea hotels with the displaced people from the kibbutzim, we saw a few of these kids walking around with a soccer ball. And so me and my friends were able to just play soccer with these kids from the kibbutzim and just give them a rest from the war for a few hours. It was meaningful because just an everyday activity is meaningful in Israel right now.
Everyone we met kept saying, I can't believe you're here. We said, of course we're here. We want to be here. Us being there impacted them so tremendously, and we're telling their stories.
I don't need to tell you that this is a very extraordinary time in this country. And I think people think a lot of solace and support from trips like yours.
One of the mornings, we had the honor to meet Amit, a survivor of Far Aza, and she shared her story. All of us were envisioning what it would be like to wake up in the morning with your kids and all of a sudden realize that your life is never going to be the same, and you're not even sure if you're going to survive.
Rabbi Krauss offered us to come and share our story with the community here in the States. 2 weeks after, we came here, all of our families, so
it shows a unity, like there is a big Jewish community and it's not only us in Israel and
But we are not alone.
ידענו שיש חיבור ל-SAR וישראל, אבל עכשיו, בתקופה הזאת, אנחנו רואים את החיבור הזה כל כך חזק. יש לי צמרמורת.
SAR is a magical institution. If you want to understand why Judaism has endured for thousands of years, part of the reason is institutions like SAR.
I'm where I am today because of SAR and because of these two amazing educators and the whole staff of SAR.
Our goal is to educate our students to know that their Talmud Torah, their tefillah, their letters, their tzedakah, their packing for the chayalim really makes a difference.
The students really internalize the message that it's not just what you learn, it's who you become. I think that they understand that academics play a huge role, but that the person you are in the world is what really matters.
Please continue to send donations. Please continue to send letters. Please continue to help out where you can.
Thank you for your help and your donation. We're all one people. You have our back, we have your back. Toda rabah.
The way the community has come together and risen up to meet this incredibly challenging time shows them you serve Hashem with your whole heart, and anything you can think of, you just do.
I work with children in the middle school, and I see in the high school there are students that could run small countries, and I think it's because they've been taught that they matter.
Students brought their full selves to shaping this community and to making SAR a place which exuded its care and love from Mdinat Yisrael in so many different ways.
This is an amazing people. This is an amazing people. Every single person is stepping up, right? It's not about the prat, it's about the klal.
And it's just rewarding to see that it's not just adults who are doing this, but it's the students.
These small rays of light are making a difference to people.